Hi, happy Wednesday. Just thought I'd use the opportunity to chat. It's nearly Christmas. Got my little Christmas stuff up. Christmas tree. A few little bits, blah blah. Make the magic happen for the kids. Oh, a bit annoying though. They've got this elf on the shelf thing, you know, little elf. And he has to do something every night, so and I'm fucking knackered, so like 8 o'clock I'm ready for bed me at night. Used to be a right party animal, but you know, I'm like shh, get to sleep, and then I'm straight in bed, and then you know I'll wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'll be like, oh shit, I've not sorted out the fucking elf on the shelf, so I have to come downstairs and make some, you know, creative, bizarre, humorous scene with a soft toy and leave a little note rolled up. But you know, they love it, so it's all worth it. Christmas for me was picking my favourite things out of a catalogue and, you know, knowing what they were and then opening them and seeing them and yay, you know. The the non-magic in materialism from an early age. But anyway, I've been thinking about a few different things. Funnily enough, after semi-slagging off angry truthers that are stuck on mud floods, I came across this guy who's definitely not angry and definitely not just about mud floods, and his channel's called Flat Earth British, and he's a little Welsh guy, and he's so funny, and I don't even know if he knows how funny he is, but it's like watching a little character from Little Britain, if anyone's seen that series. And I used to live and work in Wales for a little bit. I was a postwoman. Actually, that was the best job I ever had when I was pretty young, and just delivering letters, and I could see the sea, and oh, it was amazing. Music in the ears, no one bothering you. But anyway, I worked in this, obviously, a postal distribution place with lots of Welshmen that are like this little guy Martin, and he's just so adorable, and he's interested in many things. I think he used to be a stonemason, so he's looking at architecture and antiquities, and basically he's you know, bringing to light the fact that history's not as we've been told, and you know, I'm fully aligned with that. I can't disagree with things when I watch him with a open mind and heart, and you know, as little cognitive dissonance as I can, you know, as I can have, you know, just to be as free and open to the information as I can. And so it was very interesting to me. I've only watched a little bit of stuff. He's been doing videos for a long time, and they're very long as well, but he's done a series called The Greatest Story Never Told, which is like 5 hours long, so maybe I'll watch that while I've got the chance tonight, or maybe I won't, but you know, I did come across some bits that he was talking about, these ancient sort of artifacts that crop up everywhere, and it's a coagulation of pipes with a coil wrapped around them, and you know, they're depicted everywhere, and they're called fasces, I think, and he thinks that they are quite possibly, you know, some sort of weapon. Not just that, I mean, he's from watching one video, I'm like, whoa, you know, and I love that innocence in me that I can have, that I can, you know, 1 minute I can just be like, that's, you know, mud flood, that is potentially a truth that can do no good, and then, you know, someone like little Martin goes a little bit further and you start unravelling a little bit more, and so he's looking at all sorts now, and you know, it's all a bit like this little orgonite pyramid that I bought, you know, on a whim the other day, and the first thing I noticed was, you know, the copper coil at the top, and so that coincided with, you know, what he's been talking about with the old buildings, some that have still remained, you know, the domes on top, and the you know, the towers, and just the potential that these structures or devices are harnessing energy from the ether. And you know that's been covered up from us, and along with the rest of the history. So you know, I'm all for these types of theories. I was going to say crazy, but it's not crazy when you look at it. You know, with an open mind, it's like, right, okay. But once I'd, you know, processed a little bit of this video that I watched, I came back to the feeling that, like, you know, what sort of what good does it do for the average Joe, for the normal person? It's like, I do fear my kids getting older and, you know, having free reign of the internet, and I don't fear them watching porn or anything like that. I fear them coming across darkness, you know, that they don't need to be aware of before their time. And so, you know, I just hope that these next few years is a real acceleration of understanding the darkness or the dark secrets, or, you know, the extraction of either energy, whether that's from the ether, you know, from a building, from a weapon, or from an actual soul in a person, you know, the idea of extracting loosh or adrenochrome and, you know, these types of things. And to me, everything sort of goes hand in hand, and it's sort of up to the discretion of the writer, you know, us, the authors of our own stories, of what we believe. And I think that what you believe just is. And so if you get enough people to believe in that story, it can become the collective narrative, which then becomes truth. So, you know, it's an iffy sort of ground, and as long as sort of everything has a message of internal healing, which I know sounds like airy fairy pansy shit, but I mean, like, it's sort of a big thing for me. It's like when I listen to videos, if people have got an aura of despair or fear about them, I just think that it shouldn't be broadcast. It's like, you know, it's part of the path to acknowledge the darkness, not just within but outside, and then to sit with it, integrate it, release it, you know, move on. It's like I feel and see a lot of hopelessness silently, you know, on YouTube and the internet, and I shouldn't look at comments, but I do, and it just seems there's a lot of depressed people that, you know, unwillingly stumble across these truths, and then I was like, oh fuck, you know, it's like someone shitting on your face, and it's like, oh, what do I do now, you know, what do I use to wipe it, like, where do I go from here? And so it's just I just find that, you know, it's a strange old ground, and I wish there could be some sort of sense, you know, from I don't even know who could do it, you know. This is the thing. Everybody's got to go through their own soul journey, but to compartmentalise all these different factions and pockets of consciousness or truths that are out there, you know. The ET narrative, the mud flood, the, you know, Atlanteans, Hyperboreans, then we've got, you know, the Christians, and, you know, the whole rise in that. And I sort of, and I don't want to say I slipped into this, because I believe in God, but God as in a source of energy for me, I think it is, you know. But there was a point, not even that long ago, you know, maybe 5-6 months ago, where I was reading the Bible quite a lot, and I was finding truths in it which are there, but I was sort of stepping into the whole narrative of the Christian believers in terms of narratives, you know. So it's like, which come with fear, you know, like I've spoken about before. And I feel like this is a whole sort of another thing that needs to be spoken about, which is sort of like the saviour complex, where, you know, you've seen a bit too much shit, and now it's like the only option is to go, Jesus is coming to save me. And it's like, you are Jesus, you know, not in an egotistical way, but, you know, to me, Jesus is the, what's the bloody word? The archetypal dude, you know, to follow in terms of how to live your life, not to take things literally in the Bible and to wind up in some paranoid state of fear where you're looking up at the clouds and, you know, you're waiting for the end times to come and, you know, your saviour to come and save you. So I find these all these sort of little rabbit holes, these little avenues of truths, they all sort of lead to some kind of saviour. You know, it's like you think about outer space and then, you know, the Pleiadians are going to save us, you know. So we've got that saviour there, we've got that saviour there, and it's like, whichever one of these, it doesn't even matter to me. And believe me, I flip between one and the other and the other and the other, and I find my own little ways of, you know, just believing whatever. I take little bits from this, little bits from that, and I believe whatever the fuck I want to believe, because, you know, this is my reality, and I honestly think that the only thing I know is that what we believe we create. So I try and laugh about things and not take things too seriously, but at the same time, I do always see myself from an outside point of view, and I imagine somebody else coming across this information, how they process it, you know. So it's just like, oh, sometimes it's all a bit of a sticky sort of ground, you know, AI and, you know, Draco reptilians or synthetic soulless people, and I understand things in a way to relate to myself always, obviously. So it's like metaphors, it's metaphors, and it's similes, and it's, you know, it's things to grab your attention, your mind and your heart, and to connect it to that so you can understand your dreamscape, what's going on. But yeah, they are scary little bottomless pits sometimes. So I've noticed a lot of depressed sort of vibes, and I felt a little bit down myself recently. I felt very lonely, and I didn't even really want to talk about it, but I just think, you know, it's really important to do. I've had 6 months on my own, and it's been super beneficial for me in my healing and my spiritual journey of finding my soul and regaining my sovereignty and all that. But, you know, I'm at the point now, it's like the kids have gone, you know, again for the night, and what I do is I sit on my own, and I don't find, you know, I do find myself quite funny, but, you know, there's a point where you need that to be observed and appreciated by others, you know, affirmation. And, you know, there's probably a dark part of me that is why I do these YouTube videos, so I can connect with people, even though, you know, I'm just talking into a fucking camera. So I've been thinking about loneliness and acknowledging the fact that I feel like there's a song called I Came Here for Love, and that's what I feel like I came here for. I came here for love, and to experience love on every level that you can. So experience love as a daughter, experience love as a mother, experience love as a partner, as a wife, as a friend. And throughout my awakening, I realised that what I'd experienced up until that point was filtered, watered down, fake versions of said emotions. And since my awakening, I started to reactivate, or I felt what love actually is, for my kids, for myself, for my mum, for my partner, you know, and everything's sort of coming back. Life is a lonely game, and we're all individual little souls, like I always say, and I think the point is to come here and to experience love, and to experience real love you have to experience real darkness. And so that's what the awakening's about, and the Kundalini rising and the dark night of the soul and all these crazy fucking shit that you put upon yourself, and it's all a little test. So, you know, I'm just acknowledging to myself that I'm 32, and I don't want to live like a nun for the rest of my life. You know, I've said that in the past when I was basking in my solitude and, freedom, I guess. And now I'm like, it's not what life's about, to enjoy yourself. It's about connection, and I can connect with my kids, but to not have a soul connection, or to not connect on, on a frequent basis to a level where it's a different kind of love, I'm craving it, I'm missing it, and I'm lonely. So it's a bit pants, isn't it? But, it's all for a reason. I think, I'm here on my own in this fucking house with my Christmas tree, my little orgonite pyramid, and this fucking sofa. Look, I bought this sofa for 250 quid. You see how big it is? I have to shimmy past here, look, to get through to the kitchen. I'm like this. It's fucking huge. It took us so long to get into the van. And then my mum and dad came in and they were like, isn't it a bit big? It's touching the radiator on one side, literally touching the other side of the room. And I'm like, no. I've always wanted a room where you can just lay back and come in and, jump down. So, fuck 'em, This is my dream, my reality, and I've got a big sofa, so... But, no one to fucking sit on it with me. So... I think, again, refining, processing, shedding the shit, understanding what's real, what's not, what's illusionary, what's a belief, and what's designed to drag you down into hopelessness and despair, and siphoning that out and taking away good lessons, goodness from that. So... I'm on a journey. But anyway, check out Flat Earth British. Aside from me slagging off angry truthers, like I said, this guy is not angry. He's lovely, and it was very interesting. What stood out to me was the copper used in things. Obviously, rhesus negative, copper blood. I feel like we definitely extract information from the ether through our copper blood, and so there's probably something in that. When you look at the copper coils and the domes to extract energy from the ether, that's documented in the past. And the other thing that I'm going to attach below is something that popped up yesterday, and it's this French lady talking a little bit about etymology and her idea of the Bible, the Old Testament, the New Testament being books which you can't actually read unless you've got prior knowledge of astrology and etymology. But how the Old Testament is about the body and the New Testament is about how to heal the body, and words and sound healing and resonance and all this shit that organically sort of sits right with me. She also talks about circumcision and how that is a plot to stop the third eye from opening, the Kundalini rising and seeing beyond the veil. So it all sounds a little bit exciting to me. I really enjoyed the little talk, so I'll add these two little bits on. I'm saying that I don't know which one of this, that I won't. Just look for Flat Earth British, just go for it. It's such fun. He's a brilliant commentator, and he's a lovely little spirit, and I like him, and it's very interesting. So my point about all this is, it's like you find the darkness, where do you go from there? It's like it's December, there's a lot of people feeling like December the 21st is the next date. We had 11/11, and then we have 12/12 or whatever, which is that fucking today? Yeah, 12/12 today. Nothing. I'm not dead yet, but. And then the next one we've got is 21st December, and I've seen lots of internet warnings about this and what's going to happen, and it's like, what good does that do? This is what I've said in the past. These fucking dates have got to stop. It's ridiculous. It's imagination, and we can imagine and create better things with less fear and less halting concepts. So I find it all a little bit stressful, that type of shit. It reminds me of when back in March I thought around Easter time that the world was going to end. Obviously it didn't. And, you know, I didn't live my last few days before Easter Day as if I was free. You know, I didn't play out my bucket list. I was quivering in my fucking bones. So that's the feeling that you get when people put dates on things and, you know, concrete narratives, and they add things up and they edit things and produce these videos and they act as if things are gospel. Well, no one knows anything. We're all learning, and we all continue to learn, but what is in is out, you know. It's whatever you believe will be manifest, and it sounds like a load of words, but I think when you understand, you understand the knowing or the truth in that, from whatever sort of scale or spectrum you can imagine it. So it's like, for me, find the darkness if you want, sit with it. That will force you to do the internal dirty work of your own subconscious shit, which will raise the kundalini, and you know, and then collectively we can be better people with better systems, and, you know, the controllers, whoever they are, hopefully there'll just be no need for them one day, and they'll just, you know, evaporate. But until then, yeah, I just don't like feeling a collective depressed feeling. Yeah, and it's December, seasonal affective disorder. It's fucking cold. I've been eating like a horse. My skin's awful because I've been eating so much. I eat multi-packs of crisps. I'm not even joking. I'll get a sandwich and then I'll have like 8 packets of crisps, and that has been happening for about a month. I think I've put about a stone on, and I'm not boasting, but, you know, I also don't like the, you know, today I'm eating kale from my favourite vegan restaurant because I'm such a spiritual goddess, you know. I don't like that either. So we're all on an individual journey, let's be honest, you know. I watched Tobias Lars earlier. He's amazingly honest and very good communicator / teacher or whatever, if anyone's interested. And he was talking about how just last night he was having battles with voices and demons in his head, and this guy is very spiritually attuned, and he's been on this journey for years, not mere months like me. So it's a long and winding road that leads to your door. Back to yourself, really. Anyway, right, I'm going to leave it for now. 22 minutes. I can talk shit. Right then. I hope everybody has a nice day. I might do a video in the morning, or I might not. Happy Wednesday. Bye.